Here he is. Oh, good morning. Oh, I'm just moving Danny DeVito. Thought you wanted to poke in the side. Let me move this mic here, maybe? It's almost like I've been prepared, but not. How does that go? I know. Da-da-da. Morning, it has started. If anyone in the comments would like to mention it started, in case anyone needs to refresh, that would be useful. I'm starting it with a dead leg today, which is extra special. There we are. So I've put the mic anywhere. There we are. Yes. Good morning. Morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee, number 48. Nearly an entire year, which is pretty wild. Woohoo! Make sure your started post. Give it a like as well. Yes, number 48. We're closing in on a year. Not quite sure what I'll do for the special year episode, but that's pretty wild. I'm excited by that. If you've never been here before, this is the 48th week of this mayhem. So basically, I am going to chat for the next half an hour. The next half an hour that sometimes turns into an hour maybe, and so just see the comments there, and yes, that's what I do. And then I pause a lot and I go and all that sort of stuff, and then I realise an hour's passed. So I generally catch up with what's been happening in Bad Squiddo, what will be happening in Bad Squiddo, any random stuff that I want to talk about as well, because it's kind of a half an Annie vlog now, isn't it? But you don't seem to mind, so I do not mind also. It's been extra good in lockdown as having another human to talk to, other than Danny, of course, who's here. Oh yeah, and we do our worldwide yawnathon, like a yawn Mexican wave type thing, where we yawn all over the world. So that's what this show is. If you would be as kind as to give a thumb up on the video, if you've not liked and subscribed and rung the bell, they give you a lot of things to say now. Then you should do that, because then you get little notifications. So I think now, because it's clicked start, I think now is when a whole bunch of people get their email notification. They go, "Oh, the Annie show." So I hope those numbers will creep up as they come along. So yes, you should do that. I'm nearly at 700 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, that's gone up a lot. So I appreciate that. And again, I do keep saying I'll be putting some other videos up as well that aren't just these. I'm getting closer to that, which we will talk about shortly. Oh, we've got notes as well. If you've got notes, so I don't forget things. Just turn my notes there. Yes, so we have Danny DeVito here. And some parts of interest here, which has already caused an uproar from Catherine. I think I can hear it. If I just about tune my ears, I can hear squeak. So yeah. I have my mug today is Manchester City, my new favourite sports. I mean, I'm a lifelong fan of Manchester City, the city. It's that's the place. I've not only been aware of this for a week at all. It has been exactly 1 week now since Andy 2D6 has been living here too, which may coincide with all of the Man City merchandise, which is, it's been actually a really ace week, which I'll get to also. I'm a football glory hunter. I'll go wherever, a general sports glory hunter, because I don't know anything about it. So I'll just go with whatever and say which colour do we cheer for, and then I get really into it because I can just assimilate with whatever whatever team I decide to be on that day, which I had to do a lot in Cardiff because rugby is obviously massive there and I couldn't really avoid it. So I did get into rugby while I was there, but only in a very superficial way, purely so I could drink beer and go, ah! But yeah, and then go, there are guys, yes, there definitely are guys. So, yeah. So there's actually no orange in the background so far, which is unusual because it is creeping across the house. It's got quite a good Bad Squiddo brand colours going on here. I like this. Yes, so It's cool. I'm very excited to be doing the live today. In a nice, good old mood. Talking of assimilation, I am wearing. Oh, I've got one knock anything over. Oh, and my dead legs. I'm wearing a limited edition Cheeks t-shirt, which has been given to me by Andy, of part of his card game that is still available, I think, from Wordforge. I don't know if it's in any other shops as well. But yes, it's a hamster-based card game. So I thought I'd give, even though I can't quite see it on here. So yeah, you should check that out because it is actually a fun game. And yes, so where shall I start today? I see the numbers creeping in. I don't know how you can sit without getting all the dead legs. That's how I go. So I got this unsolicited book in the mail this week. I have my suspicions of who sent me this. You're definitely watching it now, that's for sure. You sent me this. It's like, oh, a mystery book in the post. So this is Ace. So I like how I get hints on what stuff to do by here, Annie. Here, have this book. Have this book. It was Katie. Katie, that typo was amazing. Yes, thank you, Katie. That is Ace. I definitely will take the hint, and I'll have a look for this book. So Caroline Page, who I'd only recently heard of because of Katie. Obviously, she's a person still alive, so anything like that I would never do. Just go and make a mini. So for one, it'd be interesting to learn about her and about being trans in the military, which is, which is like a whole new part of learning for me, which is always good. Potentially, it could be. I want to do some more stuff with people who are contemporary, to sort of reach out to them and see if they would be interested in working together. So it may happen with her, may happen with some other people. I got so close with one before, so yeah, that's sort of interesting. But if not, it's just a cool learning opportunity because I want to include some trans women from history in my range, and even contemporary would be ace. So it depends on the people, because some people would go, if you go, would you like to be a miniature? They'd be like, oh my god. Other people will say, yes, but for £1 million you can use my likeness. So yeah, so that's cool. Thanks, Katie. That did make me go, ho ho. It's like, you're cheeky. Yeah, this is awesome. So thank you for that. And if you have not heard of Caroline Page, I can't recommend because I don't know anything about her yet, but I'm sure it's ace. So yeah, you should look her up. Even just look her up online, and get a little idea. Jade is a shield maiden. Yes, it's actually happening. That's on on my list of stuff, for my soon list of stuff actually. Ta-da! So I'll put you there, Caroline. The book that happened. Oh, you can use my likeness for a £5. Here they are on Osiris. Somebody sent me this last week from the Amazon wishlist. The Amazon wishlist has been going nuts. Thank you. It's ace. Just getting these presents in the post. I'm like, oh. So thank you for that. So this was one I've put on. It's about a Jewish lady's who joins some partisans in Poland and ends up joining up with some of the Soviets to fight the Nazis. It's the memoirs, so I'm looking forward to reading that. To be ace. It didn't come with a name, so whoever sent me it, thank you very much. That's ace. So I've got a little back area now. I can put these with my Manchester City. Have I missed out so far? Yeah, so I've got a whole bunch of books that I need to read up on. I'm actually getting to the point where I have some time, which is ace. So I'm just going to that shortly. What else have I got on my list? So the week in general, how was the week gone? I was supposed to take 2 days off. I took 1.5 days off, but it actually was excellent. I think the last few weeks I've had this whole like, welcome to Sunday morning coffee. I don't have much to update because I haven't done anything because it's been a rubbish week. But not this week. So even though I had a day and a half off, the half was important. I realised some painted minis were coming. I didn't want to chase them around the world. So I went in just to get them and then did a cheeky bit of work till 11 on Tuesday. So I was in yeah, so I haven't been in that much. So I've been in Monday, half of Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday. But did loads. So the scheduled time off was originally going to be actual time off. Turned into not, but was still a break. It's just when you shake your routine up a little bit. So because Andy's moved in last Saturday, and I'd sort of displaced a lot of my stuff, so it was a good excuse for me to finally sort the garage out, finish up taking down all the trade show racks, which is kind of sad, but I'm pretty resigned to the fact there's not going to be trade shows for the rest of the year. And they all need absolute maintenance because Dave broke loads of them at Hammerhead. Damn it, Dave. So yeah, they all needed taking apart. Some of them were so knackered where the screws had been like bent in, as I had to like saw and snap them off. I have on my eyes still, so that's a bonus. So yeah, it was a bit sad. So it felt like an end of an era. It was not, because trade shows will be back, but I do have a bit of a feeling that there won't be as many, or they might, well, they're not going to be the same. It's that whole pre-post-COVID world thing, which would be very interesting. But yeah, they're kind of, that space is cleared up. And then just moving boxes around, I was absolutely knackered. I did so much on Wednesday, but it was good. It's that good feeling where you've just been doing stuff and achieving. Sometimes even if I do lots of work, it's still lots of sort of computer stuff. So moving about's good. So it did make me realise that I need some actual time off where I get to just do fun things. So yeah, I had that time off, but I got caught up massively this week. So all the orders that had been delayed, I've been saying because I've not been in much because I've been struggling with mental health problems. Not been in. Some of the orders had got sort of stacked up, emails had got stacked up, and then I turned up Monday and went bam and sort of smashed through it all. So it's all caught up. There's obviously like the odd bit that I need today. I need to do some more emails. So I'm feeling really positive that I've started to really claw back and get this stuff moving. So those things I noticed that I'm very one track focused with stuff. So when it was like Kickstarter, all I can see is fulfill Kickstarter. And when I've got those orders, it's to do that. Or if I'm doing paperwork, it's just that. But I've got one big paperwork thing. I've mostly got it all out the way, basically. So I can actually start tackling all those little annoying tasks. So I did a lot of those yesterday. I'm going to do some more today. So even though I'm working kind of half this weekend, it doesn't feel like work because it's quite satisfying. And there's that. There's been some really good discussions over self-care, and people say, you see a lot of self-care, which is put some candles, go in the bath, and buy loads of stuff. And if that works, it's good, but it's not necessarily the healthy way. So sometimes the self-care can actually be quite difficult, but it's looking after you in more of the long term than the immediate. So it feels like self-care actually just getting some of these like tasks done that have been overwhelming me. So that's really exciting. Yesterday, what did I do? I started. I spent ages, and you're not allowed to criticize this ever. I spent hours actually researching the home front uniforms to try and get the correct colours for the dispatch riders, because Andrew Taylor's got them for painting. He's had them for ages, but I keep saying you can't start till I've sent you a comprehensive color guide, basically, because it's got, it's obviously got to be specific. I forgot how much pain it is trying to figure out exactly what uniform. It's okay if I do it around the time the sculpts have been doing, because that's when all the research is happening. So we had all my books out, trying to figure out. I think it was an hour on what colour the trousers were. And then trying to, because everything's in black and white. There's a few that aren't, and then there's a few where somebody's painted, so like a larger scale model, and I'm like, have they painted that right? So there was a point yesterday I was going, those trousers. But yeah, that all got sorted. And then I was in a bit of a rush for that sort of stuff. So I then put together a whole bunch of briefs for Bristol for the next bunch of sculpts. I'm really excited because I had a bit of a brain block with that. I think I said last week that I get frustrated that I can't do everything perfect because there's just not enough Annie for it. So I've been knowing that I want to get some more commissions from him, increase more of the Basquido Scenics, and it's like I know vaguely what I want, and then it's just this block because my brain's sort of focusing on all the other bits. And because I was in the zone yesterday, I was just a commissioning machine. So I wrote all the details, all the different ideas and stuff for what me and Rachel are going to be working on. It's so exciting. It's so cool. I was really excited by it all. It's like these next are going along the sweet lines. There's a few. I'll give you a very brief look into my. Oh, make sure there's no. A brief look into my notes. So it's not all lovely. So I'll spoiler that. A dead animal pack is coming. If you remember the old Bristol Farmer dead cattle terrain pack, I've got that. I haven't released it yet. There's still quite a lot of things from Bristol I haven't released. I've got that, but I'm not a massive fan of the full. Oh, there's loads of posts going on there. I'm not a fan of the full dead cattle he's done, but I'm more like the sort of skull and bits of rottingy bits. So, so I've rejected the bigger parts, and I've basically asked him to sculpt more along those lines, but with different animals. So, because I grew up in the countryside, it was quite normal to sort of be walking around the fields and you sort of see a goat skull or like a bit of a rotting sheep, that sort of thing. So I will have a pack of those coming out. Obviously, I will show you them as they exist. He's poor guy. He's got a whole bunch of stuff to get on with, so it's okay. So it's that sort of just natural decomposing livestock that you see. So you can obviously use it for stuff like ghouls and zombies, but it's also you can just chuck it in your fields of your World War II games and things like that. So it's cool. I'm just going to have a quick check at there's loads of comments there. I just want to make sure I'm not missed anything other than the bidding war for people's likenesses. Yes, fun things like reading books about stuff to make miniatures of. But that's it. That's what I really want to do. Everything's so entwined. I know people say that's unhealthy with work sometimes, but I think because it's quite specific. My business is my interest. It's not a bad thing. It's not, when people go, "Oh, you must hate it." Like, no. But I just, as always, just want more time to be doing the research and the learning and the designing, and less of the like paperwork. It's always so much paperwork. Colour research is my grumpy phase in painting. Yeah, the shades are okay. It was more because my poor painter John, he has to deal with it all when because he does most of the stuff at the moment. Andy's been really busy. It's the only reason we haven't used him so much. But I want to see what he does with the bikes. So yeah, it's not so much the shades. There's more what colour they actually are. So all of the women's home front uniform, they're all very similar, but with slight differences. So when we're doing the sculpting brief as well, it's like, does that have a pocket? Does that have a button? I'm not sure. And obviously then there's someone that has to make the comment about it. No. Paint them black and white. Everything was black and white. That is a good idea. Annie's Tome of the Damned. Yes, it is actually. That's a present from Fenris. Thank you, Ian. Good Tome of the Damned. So pink trousers. Oh yeah, white trousers going pink when washed with red jackets. Yes, I like that. Yes, so Hobbit Tom. One of the reasons of Soviets uniforms were relative. Yeah, I want to do when that's the next. So I'm doing a few little releases. There's some little dashed releases everywhere. So there's going to be some Shield Maidens, including Jade. There's going to be a couple of My Last Sunrise, Vampire Queen, don't tell anyone yet. Big elaborate Vampire Queen, and then a Vampire Queen casual. What else are we doing? A couple more animals. Just want to give a love. The range is getting so big. It's part of my frustration. I know it's good, it's big. Don't have the funds to sort of constantly focus because women is the theme basically. It's like if we were just a World War II company, you've got this focus, but because we do lots of different eras, there's always so much, and I want to make sure that nothing really gets forgotten. So obviously, like vampires, vampires haven't had a release in vampires. The Gothic horror hasn't had a release in a little while. Just going to move myself down there a bit. So yeah, get some more releases out there. So a few little like packs everywhere would be lovely. And then it's the massive Soviets. So I've still been doing some research on them just to get more. But where I'm heading with those rambles is that I've had quite a lot of chats with Great Escape Games over the years about the World War II figures, and we're on the same sort of page with it. So I think he's already done what we were talking about, but I'm going to do it too. So to do things like the winter Soviets, where yeah, everyone's not in these beautiful, perfect uniforms. It's really what's the word? Well, bodged together. So it's sort of you're on improvised uniforms and weapons, and everything's a bit raggy because that's the truth. They're not going to be in these parade uniforms, basically. And I was reading a part of Unwomanly Face of War, which is such a good book, but so heavy. One of the ladies there was saying about how she found it kind of funny after the war when she was watching war films and seeing people sort of like with their little fabric caps and their little skirts and dragging people out of the bushes and stuff, and saying, yeah, we got skirts at the end for the parade, but we're not going to be having. I'm like, yes, finally. Because when I was looking before and I didn't know whether it's like, there's a lot of pictures of people in skirts. But and then I kind of saw the odd company had done the odd Soviet, and they were all in skirts. I was thinking, should I do them in skirts? Like, no. So that was a nice like clarification that I was correct. So that's a whole other thing when you're researching. It's the what's the word? We've got 20 minutes in, and I've only had my first brain blank out. It's good. Uniforms. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Will they have skirts on? No. Yes, I've got one. I think one in the range has got the skirt, and she's the commander, so that's okay. Yeah, that's it. So you look for all the different historical resources, trying to figure out what they would look like, what they would have done. The Soviets I found so interesting because the level of propaganda to get through is just, it's like a fun quest. So you've obviously got, yes, the Soviet propaganda at the time, the post-war propaganda towards their own people, towards everyone else, the Axis propaganda towards the Soviets, our own propaganda about them, and it's just so much to sort of weave through. And even some of the memoirs quite quickly after World War II aren't to be trusted either, because people are wearing like saying what they feel they have to say. So there's so much you got to like weave through, and I love it. And it's great to find in between these. And it is unfortunate that it is a lot of times people sort of on their deathbed finally get to say stuff that they worry would have brought the sort of disrepute onto their family, sort of thing, which is sad, but it's good that at least that they did get their word out eventually. So the foes, so it was the Soviets. People goes, well, how come all these ladies were just absolutely stunning? Like, yes, because they're the ones that are used in a lot of the photos, because it's that whole, you want to be this lady? Yes, how amazing is this? Sign up. The same as we did. What was I talking about yesterday? I was showing Andy some of the Katusha videos. So when I was first looking up, I was like, wow, in Russia they really love the World War II memorial type. Because there's like a million covers of the Katusha song by pop stars and stuff. And then as I was saying it, went, oh yeah, and we have all of these. We do exactly the same thing. So it's so easy to look at a different country and go, well, that's strange what they do. But actually, when you're kind of blind to your own because you see it all the time. And obviously with sort of the Vera Lynn type stuff, it made me look back through some of those, not Royal Variety Performance, is it? But the UK's definitely got a World War II fetish going on. So there's so many of those where there's all the, all the Union Jacks and all the, remember the 40s, and that sort of skimming over some of the terribles for this sort of perfect view of the 40s. So it's quite funny when you look at something else and go, that's a strange country. Yeah. Oh, we're strange too. Where are we? Yeah, that Unwomanly Face of War book I can really recommend. There's a good start point in that where the author was saying how I think it was the 80s or something she was trying to get it published originally, and the criticism, and they were all saying no because this is not what war is, because obviously it's the full dirt and truth of the matter, you know, all the nasty tales, and they're like, nope, that's not what war is. War is honourable and clean and lovely, and you know. Yes, that's the word, Carol. Invented nostalgia that we have, and because I looked through a lot of the World War II, a lot is definite understatement of the year. Let's look at my massive bookcase of World War II books. I'm obviously really interested in it, but it's you come across so much where it's you're a little bit too interested in it, sort of thing. Um, and yeah, this blinkered to the UK being the best ever, without thinking, oh yes, like I said before, where you look at another country and go, ha, all their propaganda said they were the best ever. Oh well, at least we were the best ever. Like, no, 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 no. Can you see that we're getting? So it's been quite an interesting discussion with stuff about the statues and Churchill and all this. And that's been quite good. Is that although there's lots of you're destroying history, it's actually a lot of people have been learning at the moment, which is really good. Um, and obviously war, yeah, nobody's good. There's always bad and good on all sides to some extent. Obviously some are a lot worse than others, but yeah, this sort of glorified, like who's it there, Alex, yeah, so the war was won with bunting cupcakes and dancing, and we're all so wonderful, never do anything bad, and we're saviour of the world and all this, like, but Britain has done quite a lot of, like, shh, no, we're perfect, like, so some of the comment sections when I was researching were like, I think even when I was looking at quite a lot of dance videos for the dancing vignette to try and look at some moves and stuff, and I think, oh, this is wonderful. These are really sweet. The people in the dance halls doing all the, and then I look at the comments and they go, ah, yes, the 40s, before all of these horrible things happened, like diversity and women's rights. Like, no, no, what's wrong with you? So yeah, you come across quite a lot of that in the thing. I'm like, I'm just interested in it. I don't wish that it was the 40s. They weren't that great. It's a controversial opinion. Mm-hmm. Where should we now? My Manchester City, as I am a Manchester City fan. Oh, there's more to cover. What's on my list? Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned before. We've got another post Kickstarter mini release, which I do occasionally. So there's the stuff that obviously we get unlocked, but there's always more that I really wish we'd unlocked but can't. And budget for the Kickstarter, I can't just go, screw it, we'll unlock these anyway. So afterwards, I do a little mini release sometimes. So even though I did originally say no more Homefront for a while because we've got loads, there's going to be a small Homefront release. I'm not sure exactly when, month-ish, I think. I've got to gather enough greens for a master mold at the moment. But we got some lovely, just little extra things that I wish we'd unlocked during the Kickstarter, basically. So that's a little thing to look forward to. What I might do is do a little update into the Kickstarter and put some little information on how you can get, say, just something like 10% off. So if you back the Kickstarter, it just basically means you get a little extra for when they come out. I think I did that with some Ghost of Guide stuff. So yeah, keep an eye if you're a backer for that. And that would be nice. One of them is Vera Lynn. I didn't want to mention it because I didn't want to look like I was a cashing in person. So when's the appropriate time to mention it? Obviously, she died last week, was it? And it's one of those where it's obviously good to look back at someone's memory. She was very old. She was 103, so that's pretty good going. But yeah, I didn't want to be like Vera Lynn instead. By the way, if you liked Vera Lynn, you should get our model. It's like, yeah. But yeah, she's part of the post Kickstarter plan, and we were originally going to have some plans to send her one of the models. We thought that would be quite sweet. can't. Kind of tempted to find some family to send some to. So I want to send the Queen model to the Queen, even though they'll probably just blow it up like all suspicious parcels that head to the palace. It would be kind of cool anyway. So maybe she'd get it, but she wouldn't say. But she'd have it on her side and go, "Oh yes, I remember when I fixed those tires." Nice little what's it? Yeah, nice little Queen Mum model as well. So yeah, there's the Virulin models too, like the Adelaide Hall. There's the Ensa uniform and the lovely dancey singy one. Yeah, there's a few more, but I don't want to spoil. I just wanted to mention that so it didn't look like I'd gone all like, ooh, reactionary. That was a spider, but it's not. Oh, I once heard the palace doesn't blow up things that aren't food, but they do have a very big vault. Yes, it's true. Cool. Let me just have a sip and go, what else is on the list of the things? It's nice to be perky for once. What have I got? New Alan. Yes, I've got new Alan. New Ristles. Oh yeah, old Ristles. So there's still some of the Ristles range when I bought most of the Ristles Extraordinary Market line. There's still some more to come. So I got a what did food do wrong? Exactly, how could food do wrong? So yesterday I got a phone call from the caster at about 1 p.m. 1 p.m. on a Saturday. And he said, "We can sort this next week if you like. I'm just working and felt like sorting it now." Lucky for him, I was actually working too. So we ended up having I think it was an hour and a half conversation yesterday on a Saturday. Outrageous. Discussing the sort of how we're going to do some of the packs, the latest stuff. And so I think we figured out we had 8 new packs. We weren't just talking about that. We always end up talking about all sorts of stuff. But some of the packs. So if you were familiar with them, just off the top of my head, what will be coming? Do you remember the Halloween pack? It's got like gravestone. There's a bit of like gravestone, a ghost. There's a ghost, some larger pumpkin stuff, a skeleton coming out of a coffin. That's the thing. So get them out. You can add them into your Halloween games. Woo, woo, spooky. Need to get some spooky stuff for a Halloween special, don't I? There's those. There's some really cool dragon-related stuff. That's a teaser because you won't have seen that. And we have. What else do we have? There was that. Okay, I'm not overwhelmed. Oh, I can't think of stuff. What was the other extra cool bits? Some shield packs. Some harbour defence we've got. Oh, Goblin Squeaky. I don't know if you ever remember Goblin Squeaky. It was one of Bristol's figurines that was more figurine than terrain. But he's getting remolded. The Nature Guardian, which is some strange pig creature with wings. That's just a really sweet thing. That's coming out. The Stump Turtle, which just makes an amazing base. There's just loads that we're working on. And I'm glad that can actually finally get stuff moving. So writing a load of briefs for sculptors yesterday, it was just like, yes. And soon I can actually start cracking into the actual list for Alan for the Soviets. Because I'm still just sort of filling my brain with Sovietiness, which is ace. I'm just like, yes, that's good, it's so cool. What else? Where else have we got? Got a half an hour in. Just move that. I've got some stuff to show you, but I'll take the. I'll do that. We got a couple bits here. I'll take the camera off, and it should show you. I've also got some bits here. So I got some painties from Richard Bradley, if you see it. Hello, Richard. And some from John. The dwarves don't have the shields because the shields aren't glued on yet. So in case you're wondering where the shields are. Come on, focus. Focus. I don't know why it doesn't like to. That's the best thing ever. Hang on, I'll hold that. I don't know why it doesn't like doing autofocus. I think a setting's changed. Because it used to really like it. Let me try holding them up. Let me try holding them up again. Whoop. Hey, there I am. Yeah, this is the dancing vignette, which is my favourite thing ever. But I don't know why it's not doing any focus. That's so sweet. So, oh, there we are. Oh, I nearly did. So strange how it decides not to. There we are. This is a bit of that. I'm going to get some top tips on how to show stuff off like that, because it is annoying that I can't just show you. Scarecrow! All that focused. A bit of a outdoors scar. And I got a dwarf. So these painted by John Morris, these dwarfs. I love the hair, it's so nice. So obviously I'll need to glue the shields on. They're just not on for transportation. So these are the dwarf shield maidens, which I love. One of my sculptors, Shane, who has sculpted these, has been quite poorly. He's back now, so I've also got some briefs to work on with him. So it's all kicking off. It's all good. It's all super good. Oh, there we have this dwarf. They're just so cool. So we've got the fantasy stuff that Shane's been working on, which was going to be a Kickstarter, but I don't think so. I'm still confused as to what I'm going to do for that. So I kind of want to do. I just want to do everything at the moment. I can't settle on what the Kickstart will be. So there's obviously going to be standard releases and a Kickstarter. And part of me wants to do a massive Soviet Kickstarter. I'm like, no, need to do a small one. They're not from the Dwarf Kickstarter. They were a release afterwards, so they're out now. The Dwarf Shield Maidens, so they're in the Dwarves and the Shield Maiden section. What else on my news? one of my notes for this show, the show says brain back. I've told you my brain is back. That's excellent. Fire. I made fire. Yes, that's more of an Annie news than Basquido. So I've just been trying to do more that's not just working. So I did a nice fire in the garden. Did a load of gardening quite late as well, and then I spent one of the evenings sat up reading some books in the garden, and then it made me want to just make that a super nice place, and that will make me go there more sort of as summer progresses, and even when it's not, because as long as it's not raining, you can still put a jacket on. So I've bought some of those really nice outside lights. I've got a little fairy light zone, and it's just a really nice place to be. So that's making me really happy. Just to try and make my level of life better, because I kind of neglect that because I put everything into Squiddo or the Peegs, and then there's not much left for Annie. So I'm trying to just be a bit kinder to myself, really. So that's nice, and that's one of those sort of self-care-y things. Yes, more Shield Maidens are definitely coming. I've got some small bit of controversy, but only a bit, because most it's 40 minutes in, so that's self-governing, means I won't rant too much. Now, what else is on my list? Oh yeah, I've got. I'm talking to a few different people about doing some bits of sort of freelancy, casual work bits to take off some of the strain for me as well at the moment. So social media is a big one. Even though I'm ace at it and I really like doing social media, I either do it ace or I don't. So to have someone just to put some scheduled posts in, just to show off, just feature a model, feature somebody's paint job, and then I can sort of pop in and do some more as well. But it means that if I'm not great or I'm just super busy, it's still keeping the pages active, that sort of thing, and maybe a bit of replying to messages, especially on like Facebook, because they can build up quite a bit. And the rest of today, I've got to finally finish the massive list to send to the web guy Nick. Talking of getting extra people, so he mostly is just in the background and does some updates, and I handle all the website stuff. But then, if anything major needs changing or something with crazy amount of coding, he does it. So I've been building a list for him. So that's cool. And let me just have another sip of my coffee. Has I had a meteor shower in Animal Crossing this week, and I had a few people over. And that was like a strangely social. I had like 10 people on the island or whatever the max is at one point, including my painter John, who sneakily plays. I've decided I'm going to pay him in bells now, not in English pounds. Yes. So 40 minutes. No, you've not missed any exciting TMP rants. You're just in time. Although it's going to be small because I know a lot of people are kind of sick of hearing about it. But I thought I would mention it. Um, as you know, I'm never one to shy away from controversial subjects. So there's a bit. I won't go into all the details. If you don't know what a TMP is, don't worry. Don't worry. Just don't. It's not worth even thinking about. So I'll only briefly go over it, but it's basically a forum, and there's a lot of problems with it. I've had my own personal run-ins with it, and it took up quite a bit of my time. I think it was last year when the owner went on a bit of a crusade against me, and it wasn't very nice. But it's also happened with quite a lot of different companies, as well as people that use the forum. There's a lot of people I know who've been driven off by like stuff like just not nice things for what you want to be on there. Um, so currently, there's been this whole fallout with Two Fat Lardies and the forum. And Two Fat Lardies are some of my favourite people. Although I say that, I only know Nick in passing. It's Rich that I know really well. And it's one of those sort of unlikely friendships that I like quite a lot. So there's a few people in this sort of hobby. A bit like sort of Nick from North Star. He'll hate me mentioning him now. But I like chatting and hanging out with those sort of people that aren't maybe who you'd expect me to. So I'm obviously down with the woke young crowd and all this stuff, but some of those sort of older hats that have been around might not see the same on a lot of issues. But it's nice to it's that way. Although staying in your own little bubble's great and sometimes really necessary, it's nice to meet and just spend time around people that aren't exactly the same as you, because you kind of learn off each other, and I like that. Sorry, what was this in there? That Annie person is cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice. I like chatting to these sort of people, and I think because there's I don't know where I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I guess it's just that a lot of people wouldn't expect me to be friends with some of these old man war games companies. They're gonna kill me now. They're gonna kill me. I'm gonna call Richard a boomer, and I don't think he is a boomer yet. Yet, I think he's on the edge. I'm not sure. Um, older hat. But yeah. So basically, yeah, we go on really well. And although he's always saying about how he's he's not right on or PC or any of this, he totally is. Not not like not as much as myself, of course. But yeah, basically someone going, well, I'm definitely not a this or that or that, and but I just believe that everybody should be treated the same and nice, and you shouldn't be a dick to people because of their gender or their race or any of this. I'm like, yes, that is the same. We're the same. He's like, no, no. Yes, I'm afraid you are a good person. You swear a lot, but that doesn't actually the two aren't one or the other. I'm afraid you are a bit woke. No, so that's quite fun. Um, so yeah, he's been getting a lot of jip from this forum, and it's gone into. I think if you look at it now fresh, you just wouldn't know where to start. It's some whole forum drama thing, which I've been around on forums for a while. I've seen many of this type of thing, but yeah, I side with Rich and the Two Fat Lardies. They're basically just it just feels so like mundane talking about it. But yeah, if you've seen it, it's they've not been nice. Rich has been really polite about it, but he has sort of retaliated. He mentioned that perhaps some people should because he's pulled his advertising. A lot of other companies have pulled their advertising. So he did say if you're a company, just have a little look at what you're funding. which is always a good reminder, because I think with stuff like that, they'll put up their subscription. It comes out your bank every month. You don't really notice, and you so I was looking at that. You don't notice, and you don't, a lot of people don't go to various forums because they advertise and we don't have time. We're just doing other stuff. So if there's any sort of kickoffs and dramas, they don't tend to know. So Rich did a bit of a call for people to say, well, it might be worth you messaging some other companies on the advertisers list, just to sort of give them a heads up to just have a look, see what the place is at the moment and whether they still want to support it. And that's just blown up. And some people suck and it's not nice. I think some people have taken it a bit too far. Well, they definitely have, judging by some of the posts, and sort of like, sending some not nice stuff to some of these companies, sort of threatening them and bullying them that they must remove their advertising, and that's not on. And Rich is on the same level. He's saying that's not what I wanted. Just wanted it for the dialogue to be open. But the forum sort of latched onto that as this, basically saying that Rich is sending people to destroy all of this stuff, and obviously people are getting in the mix and just saying, again, taking things too far, saying some pretty horrible stuff about some of his staff, and that's totally, I can see Rich is totally not condoning any of that, but that's what happens, unfortunately, with the internet. When you kind of mention something, and then people do like to just get really, really heated about it. Which is why I'm a bit careful, because I've had the same thing where I've mentioned something's been a bit crap, but then people trying to defend me have made it worse by just getting really angry. And then it escalates. You're like, no, you've actually destroyed what we were trying to do. So I think it's all just been a bit mad. Rich has been getting a lot of abuse and general too fat lardy's customers, and we cross over quite a lot as well in terms of customers. And I hate the idea of that. My customers, you lot, being said horrible things about, because it's this sort of, move my legs, this sort of industry and size of business. It's not this like corporate company customers. We're all in the same sort of gang, so it's just not nice. So yeah, there's been a lot of crap thrown around basically about Rich at the moment, and it just sucks. So just wanted to vaguely mention it again. If you're really bored and have nothing to do all Sunday, you could troll through it, but it's become, like any forumy drama I've seen. But if you are an advertiser, definitely just have a look. It's not saying you have to do this, but it's always good to just reassess every now and again where you are spending your money. And that's not just because of that. It's whether it's worth it, whether it's getting a payoff for advertising, that sort of thing. And it's where is it? Sorry, just reading the comments there. I'm gonna say, I don't know. But yeah, it's just become one of those massive drama things. But I do appreciate that Rich is actually trying to do something, and it's been quite funny because it's been funny. I do seem to find myself at the middle of a lot of storms, storms, and it's nice to not currently be in the middle. I've seen my name's been dragged up. Apparently my name's been involved in emails as well. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, just to see somebody else, because I do feel sometimes when I get a bit sad or grumpy, it does feel like, oh, other people just carry on, they get to just do this. And because I'm so like, well, I won't work with people who are like this, I won't stock people who are like this, I'm really conscientious, I'm always trying to fight the good fight, and it feels like nobody else is, and it hurts my business when I do, and that's quite a lonely place. So to see somebody else do it, basically, so Rich is fighting his battle at the moment, and doing it for the first time, so I've been getting messages and going, how is this? I'm like, yes, welcome to speaking out. It's horrible backfires as well, but that's the thing we're talking about anything. It's always going to come back at you, but hopefully there will be some movement forward as well. So I don't want to get directly involved. I could do without. I'm allowed to sit out some, I think. Don't have to be massively involved and all. But yeah, I just wanted to add my voice to the side of the good. And it's a shame that a lot of forums are dying. Led Adventure is absolutely my favourite. And it sucks that Facebook does slurp up all the forums, but that particular place is just I won't. I won't. I could. At least I've just got a coffee and not a beer, but and I don't drink anymore either, so I'm far more refined. Yeah, basically, Rich said has posted some bullying behaviour from TMP, and TMP's done the thing of going, "No, though you're the bullies," and it's all got so convoluted that a lot of people are just going, "We don't know what's going on here." But yeah, Lotties are ace. There are other people that are just working hard to add more stuff to this hobby, and you should totally support them. And not just because I'm working with them at the moment too. You should just do that anyway. And that's another thing I like when I do work with companies. It tends not to be that there's just been some, like when they do manufactured pop artists and they sort of put everyone together on what might work. The people I work with tend to be people I'm already friends with, and we've been chatting about it, and then it just becomes a natural sort of love project thing rather than this solid, and obviously business because we're all business people, but it's more of a natural way rather than just to like, let's team up like this, like when people do license stuff and you have to do, that's the nature of it, team up and then it's over. My leg's dead again, what is this about? But yeah, also if you have been involved with all this shenanigans, just please be nice. You can stick up for people, but just be a bit careful that you don't get a bit too overexcited as well, because that does damage the actual cause. So if anyone has been emailing companies with mean stuff, then that does suck, and you should definitely not do that. Or it's just stuff like personal comments about the editors or anything like that, because it's, you don't need to. There's plenty of actual issues to have a problem with. And yeah, it is horrible when somebody fighting on behalf of you takes it too far, because you feel you've got control over them, but you haven't. But it still feels like your responsibility. And so, oh, my leg. So Rich is getting it basically now that all those people are his own like hired mob, and they're not. And my leg. Oh, my leg. TMP have put Richard's personal email on their homepage. It's a bit wrong. I saw they posted his address this morning. So it's just a bit of a dirty war, and I'm glad that Rich has been a gentleman about it all, really. Because yeah, this is just rubbish. It's just rubbish. It does feel like there's a whole, so not a week goes by without some sort of weird war games drama. But as much as, so I'm totally fatigued by stuff at the moment. So I had a whole load of stuff last week before, which is still ongoing, which is really heavy, and I can't talk about it. But that's a lot of what's it? You can only manage so much at once. So I'm glad that there's other people basically that are fighting the good fight. Yes, it's not just me, which is always nice. And Danny DeVito, he's also a good guy. So I think I'm meeting up with Rich next week from a distance because he's up to see North Star. So I said, yes, you've got to come see me too. So okay. Right. Oh no, you're late, Andrew, and I'm just leaving. But it's okay, because I do appreciate that you get up really early for this. But you'll have to watch back, because I will be heading off very soon. I always get more viewers to the end. I don't know if that's because there's more people find it as it goes on, or if later would be better. So I'm not quite sure. So I'm always interested in feedback from that. I'm very hesitant to change the times on it though, because it's so ingrained that it's Sunday at 10. Yeah, there's a whole GDPR thing going on there at the moment as well, and it's just bizarre. The guy reminds me a lot of Donald Trump. So that's, if you didn't know anything about it, that's all you need to know, I guess. Yeah, there's so much I can talk. There's so much I can say, and I just don't want to, because I know that one of them will be watching it, and then I'll get Annie from Bad Squiddo is evil topic come up again. But yeah, I am kind of evil. Anything else on my list before I go? I got approved for the grant. So you saw that I was filling in all these hell forms, and all like I don't think I know a company that's managed to get all of the money they're eligible for in all the COVID madness. But so some companies haven't got any, some have got some. Um, it's just a struggle. It's like everyone's got their own personal loophole that's appeared. So they go, we can all have money. Small companies can have money. Hooray. It's really simple. And then, you see that in the news and you think, oh, that's good. And then you go to apply for it and it goes, unless. And there's all these little loopholes. And because the small companies all operate in all slightly different ways, everyone's been screwed in some way. So I've been screwed. Oh no, I haven't got the grant. Wait, before you get excited. So I've been screwed on the main grant, basically, which I should have got, which is where you just get £10,000 for free. And it sounds like, ooh, but the amount of money I'm losing from not doing trade shows this year, before we even look into anything else, it's huge. So that's just replacing that rather than being free money. But because of some really crappy technicalities, I was not given that, which is really rubbish. But there's a backup fund. There's like council backup funds. So we're the Nottingham one applied to, and it was such a hell paperwork. It was so bad, but I finally got it done. I got it done the night before the deadline as well. Oh no, I can't go into it too much because it's the whole. It's a bit of a murky thing with landlords and some other stuff, so I can't really go into it. But there's a backup fund, so we would like, do I appeal that or do I just try for the other fund? So that's the one that I've been approved, but so they say they will let us know at the end of the month. So they get basically, I think they get as many people that have been approved, and then they have X amount of money, and then they just split it between. So I don't actually know what I'm gonna get. So it might be the nice chunk. I think that potentially can get the 10,000, which would just help so much. Mostly with bills, to be fair. But so it's not like I'm gonna go and buy a new swimming pool or anything. It's just gonna make everything so much more comfortable, because they say it's all super tense at the moment doing all this like. I say not just for me, for everyone. It's just I'm one of the few ones that actually talk about it because of the project success. Everyone going, we're amazing. Look, we sell 8 million models a day. Like, you don't, though, do you? So I'm not failing. I'm obviously doing well. As you can see, the range is growing and all that sort of stuff. But it's always tight for small companies, basically. So I could potentially get that money, which would be so good and so helpful. Or they could go, right, we have decided you are worthy of £51.84. So I'm not getting too excited yet. But I should find out next week, because end of June, which is now, so that's kind of cool. So potentially that it's not going to be money that I go, yes, I have this big check. What shall I do with it? It's just going to go. It's going to make some minuses go upwards a little bit, but yeah, it just makes everything very comfortable. So that's good. That's some good news. So it's jolly. Yes, that's that. So what am I doing next week? Oh yeah, just getting back to normal. I think. Well, normal. Just catching up with a lot of the stuff that I've kind of let slide, getting all these little niggly tasks done, getting more stuff out to the sculptors, more information, a whole bunch of paperwork that I'm so behind in, but now I can't focus on some things when there's other bits there, so now that's all. No, I can't buy anything, so it's not money that's just on top there going, oh, what shall I do with it? Yes, I'm hoping the next week will be, she says this now, and then tomorrow will be like, I am not in, I am unwell. But hopefully, yeah, next week will be a real good sort of catch-up week and get everything really good. If you're watching from America, on the 1st of July, which is Tuesday or Wednesday, the postage rates go up enormously. So I'll be putting them onto the website. So if you do want to order, obviously it'll just become part of life that it costs more to America, but if you're kind of thinking around now that you want to order stuff, it's better to order it before then because it's significantly. That's partly because of your president, I'm afraid. So as we're going, hey, let's point at other countries. There's a new rule. Basically, it's a bit of it's all politics, but basically, America have said that they're going to set the prices for how much it costs companies to ship to America. So they've made it super high so that Americans are kind of forced to buy from America, which is great if everything is manufactured there, which it's not. So it just makes imports a bit crapper for Americans. But there's an extra money on top of that from the fact that there's less planes. So the Royal Mail, for example, uses a lot of passenger flights to just whack mail on all the time. And because the planes aren't going, so that's costing them more to have to use specific transport, that sort of stuff. So that will all be going up, and I will be having a review of the European and just the Post as well, because we've froze the Post prices for a couple of years, so we'll have to put it up a little bit. But unless you're America, it would be barely noticeable. It's only going to be a bit. But America, especially when they get heavy, some of them I looked at, like, basically if they're like £15 normally, they go up to 30, and the minimum for small parcels is £8. It's currently £4. So that's that's a bit good. So yeah, it's just oh god, I've gone over an hour. But yeah, just to mention that, because I know a lot of I've mentioned this to some Americans, assuming that it's quite big news, and they've all gone, what? And people here don't know. It's really hard to find information on, but it's definitely happening on the 1st. It's part of Americans' negotiations with the Universal Postal Union, the UPU. Anyway, so yes, I'll see you around in the week. Oh, my Facebook ban will be over in a week as well. I can finally do live videos. If I have it shipped to a friend in Hampshire and they ship it to me as a private person, is it cheaper? No, it's the so it's the final mile of post that comes into America. So it's anyone shipping there basically. It's weirdly complicated, but there's not really a loophole. The best way that I'm going to look at is whether to focus more on distributors, because if it's depending on how the postal increase goes, because I've got some American retailers as well. So if I kill, I saw the word kill and read it out. If I work with some of those a bit more, get them to carry more and more stock, then at least they can set the prices. It might mean that they have to put the prices up a little bit, say on Bad Squiddo, but you're still only paying domestic shipping. So stuff like that might work. I'm always happy on not seeing everything as a big downer, basically, because there's always downers in life, and that's kind of how it works. But if you see something, you're allowed to get a bit annoyed about it, but then I just try and find a solution. So that's okay. I just wanted to let you know in case you get a horrible shock, which I think some people will be. I'm expecting emails. So thank you for coming along. It is excellent, and I've really enjoyed today, and really enjoyed chatting to you all. Thank you for my gifts. That's always good. If you really want to get me some gifts, the Amazon wish list's got some stuff on it too. Thank you. And I will see you all next week, and I will see you all over the internet, no doubt. And if you haven't subscribed, go do that too. And if you not follow me anywhere else, go do that on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Goodbye, Danny. That's like a high five thingy. It's always great to see you in the comments. So bye.